All right. Hi, everybody. Give me 1 second and we'll be ready to roll here. We have such an exciting night for you. I'm so excited. We have a special guest. That's always a big deal here at Just Jill. And if you are a fan of beautiful collectibles and beautiful artistry, you are in luck because in just a few minutes, we're going to be saying hi to my good friend, Jim Shore. So as you come in, hi, everybody. Thanks for being here on our regular Tuesday nights. We love putting these Facebook, Instagram, YouTube lives together for you. We love featuring all of the holiday decor that we have for you this season at Just Jill, and certainly some of the most collectible and most beautiful and special pieces that you can find are pieces from artist Jim Shore. And what an honor it is for us at Just Jill to be able to carry Jim's work. I've known Jim for a very long time. We worked together often when I was a host at QVC. I don't know, I think I have such an appreciation for the talent of artists because I am not one. So I love, and I think that, that's just indicative too of when I look around my house, when I look at the kind of clothing I'm interested in, when I look at the jewelry that I love, it's always those pieces that have the artist touch, the extra detail, the juxtaposition of media, the beautiful textures, the highs and lows. Like that's what draws me in, and it's certainly what has allowed me to appreciate and really covet some of the beautiful pieces that I know we have from Jim in our collection that I've collected over the years. I've gifted pieces from Jim's collection to my husband Doug, who's a Santa collector. So what better, piece of art to give in a Santa than a piece of Jim Shore work? So it's always fun. So hi everybody who's jumping in. So nice to see you here tonight. Thank you so much. Kylie's here as well, my daughter. So if you have any questions for me, for Jim, if there's more detail you want to see on the pieces, please let us know as we go along. So nice to see everybody who's coming in, and we're really excited. One of the neat things for me at Just Jill in being able to bring you Jim's work is Jim does some favors for me. And one of those is he signs certain pieces for you at Just Jill that you can't really get signed anywhere else unless you own the piece and you go to a signing with Jim. So we have 2 pieces tonight that are limited. We only have so many that are signed, and when they're gone, those pieces are gone. We also have a couple of pieces from Jim that are on sale tonight. So there's a select few that are on sale, including a piece from the movie Elf, which we'll talk about. Jim's very popular Red Truck Santa is on sale. And then we have a very beautiful high-end collector's piece. You can see it back there, right there, that will show you. So a few pieces that are on sale as part of sort of our special night with Jim Shore. So without further ado, I know you'd much rather listen to Jim than you would me, but I want to say hello and good evening to esteemed artist and one of my just most favorite people on the planet. Guess who's here, everybody? Here's Jim Shore. Hi, Jim.
Hello, my good friend.
Hi.
We've been friends for so long. It's a real delight to get back together with you and share a few things with you and the folks out there that are spending time with us. I know this is live. When they said you're going to be live, at my age, that's always a good thing to hear. So it's a great way to start the evening.
Well, I'm so glad that you could make time. I know this is a really busy time of year for you, Jim. So any time that we can get with you is just so precious. So I want to jump right into it if we can. And why don't we talk about the snowman family that you have right in front of you? This is a light up piece, everybody. So that sweet little snow baby down there is holding a snowflake. But Jim, this is one of the pieces that you signed for us here at Just Jill. And why don't you tell us a little bit about this sweet family? I have to tell you, this is a favorite of our staff here at Just Jill. We think it's so precious.
Well, I love doing snowmen. There's a lot of snowman collectors out there, more than you'd think. It's like a subculture.
Yeah.
And so I have, dialed in to them. and I am absolutely delighted to be represented in an awful lot of collections. You know,
Yeah.
initially, as you know, I licensed my artwork to UNESCO, you know,
Yeah.
and they're an absolutely wonderful place. But early on, very early on, the first thing I presented to them in this style, this has been, gosh, not quite 30 years ago, but a long time ago, was the Santa Clauses, you know, and that was the original thing. And then I did an angel collection. And then I told them, I said, well, I want to present a snowman collection. And they said, well, we're not interested in snowman. Well, I said, why not? They say, well, 3 white balls. What can you do with 3 white balls? You know, I mean, so I said, I mean, let me show you, you
I
know.
can do something,
So,
right?
so
Yeah.
that became part of the line very quickly. But you know, I mean, it's what is nice about it is, you know, it's something you can do that's whimsical, but it's
Yeah.
also it can be colorful and exciting and full of detail and that sort of still maintain the, you know, the sort of the essence, you know, of being a snowman. And
Yeah.
it's something that, for one thing, all of us. Now I live in the South, you know, so we don't get much chance to make very big snowmen. You know, we have what we call snow days. You know, people from North come down here and they laugh at us for having snow days. I think that's one of the things. That's one of the benefits about living in the South. Snow
Right.
day, you know. So when we have a you know, a half an inch of snow, everything shuts down and we go out and we play in it. You know, I've made, you know, laid down and made snow angels, you know, in the snow and but making snowman, that's one thing that's it's kind of almost like a piece of Americana. You know, everybody is familiar
Yeah.
with that. There's stories about it, and you know, it's just an interesting thing to do for this season. Now, this particular piece, it's a good example, I think, of what I do. You know, and it's not very
Yeah.
often that you see a snow family. You know,
Right.
and I think
Yes.
that's what's adorable about this piece. You know, the kids are there, and pretty
Yeah.
soon, you know, when it snows a little harder, they're going to roll around and get to be bigger, just like mom and dad. You know, and before it thaws, hopefully. Uh, and but it's got rose modeling on it, and it's got I've covered it with images of snowflakes, and
Yeah.
then I've got the contrasting of the, you know, the snow or the rose modeling elements on Mrs. Snowman or snow. What would you call her?
A snow lady.
Snow lady. Okay,
Mhm.
Snow Lady, uh, and then Snow Dad over here. He's got
Yep.
the buffalo plaid, which I use occasionally on some of my pieces because
Yeah.
I just like that particular clad or plaid. It reminds me of my youth. You know,
Mhm.
we had blankets that were like that. My brother and I, we had matching blankets. He had a red one and I had a blue one, and it
Uh-huh.
was in the buffalo plaid.
Buffalo plaid.
So oftentimes, Jill, a lot of things that I do, I mean, it's like I pull these memories out of my childhood, you know.
Yeah.
It's my love of cardinals is part of that, you know, and just the
Mhm.
things that I do for, you know, for Christmas. I mean, we had a very we had a very loving family. We didn't have very much because mom worked in the mill and dad worked you know, in construction. So we were definitely blue collar family, you know, but full of love and it was just always something exciting to do. They were both very creative people, and I guess that's one of the reasons that I guess I got some of my creativity from them. But it was nice to grow up in that atmosphere, you know, that environment
Yeah.
where they appreciated that sort of thing, and they kind of nurtured that sort of thing. And it's and so a lot of the stuff that I do harks back to my time with my grandmother and with my
Uh-huh.
mother and father, you know, and just the sensitivity that they just brought to an understanding of the things around me, you know, and that people ask about inspiration, what inspires you? Well, I can't put my finger on it. It seems like everything inspires me. You know,
Uh-huh.
I like attention to detail,
Yes.
and I'm very observant, and so I put that level of detail in just about everything I do, and I'll tell you, it's an absolute joy for me working by myself in the studio and coming up with something that I think is beautiful. But it's
Mhm.
never really complete until I make the connection of what we're doing right now, and that is me being with you and us and you and we being with the folks out there because they're the ones really that you know, that matter most. You know, the
Yes.
ones that support us by sharing our enthusiasm for what we do,
Yeah.
and I really appreciate that. And so it's a thrill, to be here. Of course, it's a thrill to be with you. Always has been.
Aw, thank you. Well, you know how I feel about you, Jim. I think you're just such a special person, and you just, everything that you radiate in person is also what I feel like radiates from your artwork. Like you feel this positivity, you feel this connection to family and memories, and just being together, I can remember when I was working at QVC, there was a famous jewelry designer who said, when I'm creating, I'm in there. Part of me is in every piece. And hopefully you feel that energy, and excitement and passion that I'm putting into the pieces. And like, I feel that when I look at your artwork, I feel like I just get this warm feeling in my heart because I can tell you're in there.
Well, when I do a signing, for example, or when I go to our distribution and do a signing for one of our virtual signs where I'm signing hundreds and hundreds of pieces.
Yeah.
And you would think sometimes, and sometimes people who do this, do that sort of thing, whether they're actors or athletes or whatnot, sometimes they don't understand the importance of that connection. It's more about them than it is about the people they're signing for. And to me, it's just the opposite. Now, when I go in, I know when I pick up a piece, I don't scribble something that's unintelligible and then it's next,
Right.
Because why? Because that's what I give you right there every
Yep.
single time. And the reason for that is because that one piece, it might be one among hundreds of pieces, but at that moment, that's the piece that one person is going to get.
Yeah.
So that is the only piece that's important to them. So at that very moment, that's the only piece that's important to me.
Yeah.
And I think about who's going to get this, But people come to me and they tell me the most wonderful stories. Some of them are just heartwarming, and it's just when I know that I'm a little bit of their family tradition, that motivates me, and it makes me know, that I'm doing good stuff. But sometimes it's heartbreaking too, and it's just something that sometimes a figurine is more than just a figurine.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the name of this, everybody, is Love Keeps Us Warm. So I turned off the little star here so that you can see it. So that lights up. There's a little switch on the bottom that you can turn on and it glows. Beautiful detail here. If you're just joining us, Jim signed 2 of the figures that we're going to be talking about tonight just for you, shopping with us here at Just Jill, and only signed a few. So it's a limited quantity that we have available that are signed by Jim. Everything will come in your classic, Jim Shore box, and your signature will be right here on the side. So take one last look at this sweet snow family. The detail, I love the scarf. Look at the carving here on the little baby. Look at the way that Jim carved the little knit portion of that buffalo check plaid. I love the snowflakes. And as you move it around, there's just all that detail that Jim is so well known for. Michelle said, I've already ordered that beautiful piece for my daughter, son-in-law, and 2 young children. It will be a cherished gift for their family.
What could be warmer than a snowman,
That's right. Well, there's our snowman. So I'm going to give everybody one last look, Jim, and then I'm going to move on to our beautiful woodland Santa, which is the other piece that you signed. Jim was so sweet. Basically, I was able to go through and look at his assortment and pick the pieces that I wanted to bring to Just Jill and that I'd like to have him sign for all of you. His woodland collections are some of my favorite. On this particular piece, you'll likely find his signature on the bottom. This particular piece is called The Best Gift is Each Other. And Jim, tell us a little bit about this woodland series and this particular figurine in particular.
Well, I'll be truthful with you. This is one of my favorite collections. I'm known in the art world as a colorist. That's part of what my thing is, because generally speaking, my color palette is very broad. And so I use a lot of earthy colors and earth tones, and all the way up to the jewel tones of the Victorian pieces that I do. And it's all across the board, very colorful. Okay. Now, years ago, I was doing a piece for a special friend of ours, and I did a fairly large St. Francis, and I colored it with shades of white, because I thought just the purity of the story and that thing about loving animals and the weak and all that kind of stuff, kind of touched me. And I thought,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get garish with this like I do with some of these things. I'm gonna make this very subdued, very very subtle and very neutral. I just thought it needed that. And but it was for the one-off for my friend. Had nothing to do with the line.
Yeah.
And the people said, when he saw it, he said, "Holy cow!" He said, "This needs to be on your line." I said, "Well, can't be on my line. It's white. Nobody will understand that." And he said, "Well, you must do this." So I didn't put that piece on, but I came back and I thought about it. Thought, well, I'll give that a try because I do love it.
Yeah.
And I love the story. The stories that go along with it, are a very important part of it. But I think it tells the story in its subtlety, maybe better even than some of the the wildly colored stuff that I do. And so anyway, I put several pieces on the line, and people were very receptive of it. And what I try to do, Jill, all of this stuff that I do is it goes in so many different directions and different styles too. From very primitive folk art, all the way up through to very, very realistic stuff that I do for Animal Planet, and the things that I did in the Victorian thing, and a lot of that kind of stuff. The deluxe pieces that I do for Disney, and it goes all over the place. But and I think that's probably one of the reasons that the line has sustained its popularity for so long, because it goes in so many directions. But what I try to do is, even though they're different, I want them to have a sort of a similar, a symbiotic kind of thing going on, where they're all cohesive,
Yeah.
and you can put these things in your collection and they don't stand out as not belonging there, And so I use grays, and I use subtle greens, and just mild colors and everything, and occasionally a little pop of color, like I've done some that are just completely gray, neutral colors except for one feature.
Yeah.
And the thing will visually be built around that feature, and so that's kind of what I do. But this one is good, I think, in the fact that the detailing is not overly done, but it's done, I think, just enough to make this piece interesting. It's like this scene that goes all the way around. It's sort of a forest scene, and that's in relief, and then you have this kind of harlequin quilting on the bottom, which quilters always appreciate the stuff that when I do a little subtle quilt activity, whether it's that kind of that whirly, or what do you call it, pinwheel design that's on the fox there, or the harlequin that's on the bottom of the Santa. They like that. And then on the bottom, on the base, that's almost like you would find on some quilts where there's an applique trim.
Yep.
So that's kind of what I'm going for, that sort of flavor.
Love that.
And so this, and then of course I've got the snowflakes and stuff, and as you can see, no two are alike. That's what they say about snowflakes. I don't know how they qualify that, but that's what they say. So I try my best to make all of them a little different. That's a challenge too, by the way.
Yeah, I bet.
You have there's always six-sided. They got six legs to them, and that is because there's six atoms in a water molecule. So that's what makes the crystal, 6 ways.
Wow.
So yeah, learn a little something today, right?
I love that. Yes. I wish you would have been my teacher in science class. Maybe I would have paid a little more attention. Why this beautiful dove here? Why you use doves often in your pieces, Jim? Yeah. What does that mean to you?
Well, it's wonderful. It's such a wonderful symbol. A dove has always been a symbol peace and of love and of that sort of thing. And I don't want to get too mushy about it, but I like those sentiments, you know.
Yes.
And if you go to Mount Vernon, the home of our first president, George Washington, his weather vane that he designed himself is a dove with
Oh, cool.
an olive branch, you know. And so
Yeah.
it's always, you know, peace and you know, familial feelings, you know. And
Yeah.
so I just always like it, you know, that the I guess it's a symbol of purity, you know,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is lovely on something like this, particularly when you are looking at the essence of Christmas. Okay, it's always a lot of fun. You know, you got Santa Claus coming and the gifts and all that kind of stuff, but we never lose sight of the real meaning. You know, the real
Right.
meaning of Christmas. So I
Right.
always try to tie a little something in there that harks back to that kind of spiritual side of it, you know. And I don't
Yes.
want to ever get when I get, you know, when I do the nativities and I do the stuff like that, then I can say, okay, this is the, you know, the biblical religious part of it, and that's the what it's all about initially. And but even when I'm doing the whimsical part of it, which is Santa Claus, which sometimes it's not too whimsical, sometimes it's like this, you know, where it's more elegant than it is whimsical, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
so I really like this piece. This piece probably is as good an example of what I try to get across in the white woodland line as
Yeah.
anything I do, because it's all there. It's got the, you know, that coloration, the little pops, and then the expressions of the animals themselves.
Animals.
Uh,
Yes.
and that's one thing that I've
You
always
see.
tried to do. You know, okay, in folk art now people will put that title on me too. You know, he's a folk artist. Well, not really, but because I don't approach this like a folk artist would, because most folk artists don't really know what they're doing, and I
Yeah.
like to think I do. So, but another thing about it is that they're very stoic, you know, and so
Mm-hmm.
they're not concerned with expression of emotion in
Yeah.
folk art. And
Right.
partly because they're not generally real artists, you know, so they do what they can, and it's charming and it's innocent and it's beautiful, and that's why I like folk art. But I carry it a little bit. But I start with the faces when
Yeah.
I'm thinking, so that I can make it say something. You know, it's love, or it's happiness, or it's surprise, or, you know, it's something. That's what I want it to say. You know, and so the face of the Santa is where that real color comes in, because as you can see, it's got the real, you know, facial tones and so forth that you would maybe
Yes.
expect, but not necessarily in this style. But there it is. And
Yeah.
that transitions into the expression of the animals. You know, they're looking up to Santa and they're expectant, and
Yes.
they're friendly, because you can see the fox is here and the rabbit's over here, and the rabbit is, you know, perfectly safe, and
Yes.
he knows he's not going to be lunch, you know, or anything. And so they're all happy, you know.
Yeah.
And then the little dangler, you know, the add-on, which is the little lantern there, you know, that's just
Great.
a nice little
Yeah.
touch, I think.
Well,
But
people are loving this. I'm looking at a lot of the comments. People are saying, you know, just ordered this, would keep this out all year, couldn't put it away. Santa's eyes are mesmerizing. Beautiful piece. I collect Santa, so I just ordered this. So a lot of people are loving this. I just want to remind everybody, if you just joined us, artist Jim Shore joining us here at Just Jill. Jim signed 2 exclusive pieces for Just Jill. We're limited. He could only sign so many. You won't find these signed other places. They were signed just for us. So if you do this beautiful winter woodland Santa with the animals, your signature is down here at the bottom. And if you're interested in a snow family, this one's a little more colorful. It lights up. This will have its signature over on the side. So those are our 2 special signed pieces. But we also have a few pieces of yours, Jim, that also show the opportunity that so many I guess, brands or licensees are wanting to work with you. And one of those is my all-time favorite Christmas movie, Elf. And you may not know this, Jim, but I grew up with Will Ferrell.
Did you really?
High school together, yes. And I'm going to try to find it on my phone. So please don't think me rude. But I'm going to find a picture of me and Will to show everybody. But who doesn't love Buddy the Elf? And so, and little Jovi, right? So this must have been so much fun. Kind of a completely, I feel like, departure from some of the other brands that you create pieces for. But what were your thoughts in doing Buddy the Elf?
I'll tell you, that's one of those, what you just said is really true. It is a little bit of a departure, but it's, when I first saw that movie, I thought it was so funny.
Yes.
But there was a certain part of it that was kind of heartwarming too,
Heartfelt, yes.
Yeah, because
yes.
and there was a certain part of me that just really felt for Elf,
for Buddy,
although I did admire his ability to throw a snowball.
A snowball, right? Yeah. I love it when he would tell his journey. I walked through the candy cane forest or whatever, and then ended up at the Lincoln Tunnel.
Yeah. Well, about throwing snowballs, when I was growing up in our town, Bobby Richardson lived, and he was a pitcher for the Angels.
Yeah.
And that's where he lived, in York, South Carolina, when he was off season.
Okay.
And he was there at winter, and we had a good snow, and I delivered papers, okay? And I delivered his paper. I made the mistake of throwing a snowball at him. This guy's a professional pitcher. And man, I'm telling you what, he burned me up with snowballs.
That's funny.
So I really related to those poor boys that was taking it from Elf. So that's one of the things that I thought was funny. But I've done a number of different pieces of that subject, but this is probably one of the more highly detailed and more interesting. What I like to do is I like to have on pieces like this sort of take a snapshot in time, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So that there's a certain dynamics to it, and you can just see and hear and feel what they were doing together. I mean, it's just I don't know. There's so much to that movie that's just delightful, and it's
yes,
it's one of the movies that you just can't help but think back on with a big smile, because it's there's so many things in it that when you think about his misunderstanding of so many things, I mean, it's there's just an innocence to that that's funny but charming,
Yeah. Like when he goes into the coffee shop, congratulations, you did it. The world's best cup of coffee.
Yeah. Or Santa's going to be here.
Yeah, Santa's coming, right? You smell like beer and cheese. It's not the real Santa.
Or he goes into that board meeting and he talks to the dwarf. Are you?
Yes, right. Yeah, you're an angry elf.
An angry elf.
Right, exactly. But I mean, that's like, isn't that the magic of what that film has created is, funny moments that like we all could watch over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And you have this endearing character who you just can't help but love. So,
well, a piece like this, though, what we do, we decorate like crazy. Okay. I mean, my wife, Jan, and I love her to death, but she is an absolute force of nature when it comes to we decorate. We put up 12 trees. Okay.
Wow.
And they're all, I mean,
are they different themes?
Oh yeah. All of them different themes. One of them, well, she has this collection of, in our family, we are probably well off enough to be considered eccentric collectors and not hoarders, So we have a collection of ornaments that is like it's like enormous.
Mm-hmm.
We have a whole room that's dedicated to storing our Christmas stuff, off season.
Yeah.
And so we have this one of the trees is just like this one you see. It's full of all kinds of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And then we have a purple tree, you know, who knew? And then we
Yeah.
have a silver tree, and we have in my room we have a lure tree, you know, fishing lures.
Wow, for fishing,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. And then in the dining room we have one that's all, you know, dealing with food and different things like that. And so it's a lot of fun. But then we decorate the mantles, we decorate the, you know, in the foyer is just crammed with stuff. All the staircases in the house and I don't take a nap during Christmas for fear of waking up wrapped in lights and covered in tinsel. You know? So yeah, it's so anyway. What we will do and what Jan will do, she'll take a piece like this. Let's say it's maybe on the coffee table or on one of the mantles or something, and then from there she stretches it out with other ornaments and other little pieces and maybe some of the other elf pieces, or you know, some of the pieces off the tree, some gingerbread, teddy bears, stuff like that. And so it becomes this thing, you know, and so this is the centerpiece, and it sort of evolves into this beautiful decoration. And I
Right.
urge everybody to look at that. You know, during Christmas, as we approach Christmas, we start decorating after Thanksgiving, which frankly is my favorite day, Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
because there's no pressure. You just, you know, cook and eat and talk and
Yes.
be thankful and all
Be
that stuff.
grateful.
And
Yeah.
then right after that, we start decorating. And as we go, we believe in all things in excess. Okay, so so decorating is no exception. But that's what we do. And we take pieces like this, and you'll see some other pieces around, pieces that, you know, that even these small pieces, if you stretch them out with things that look good with them, you know,
Yeah.
just like on the mantle back there where you have greenery and you have different things, it just it just makes the season, you know, just a lot of fun. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's something you can do with your kids. You know,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we've always involved the kids, and they just love that part of you know, the season, even from the time they were just little until now, even now. Okay,
Yeah.
and some of our kids, you know, are in their they're in their 40s, and they have kids, and the ones that are in their 40s, you could ask them today, "Do you believe in Santa Claus?" And they'll say, "You better believe I believe in Santa Claus." And the reason I believe in Santa Claus because I told him, "You stop believing in Santa Claus, he won't bring you anything anymore." So so they believe in Santa Claus. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, we're going to move on from our Buddy the
Okay.
Elf piece because I know you're limited on time and we've got about 5 minutes left, Jim.
Okay. All right.
So, Buddy the Elf, everybody, first time we've ever done a piece from the Elf collection, and that is currently 10% off. So, special sale. I had to show this piece, Jim. This is like the top of the line Jim Shore. This is for the really exclusive collectors. But this piece, I had to show it because it's maybe one of the most magnificent Santas of yours I've ever seen. I love that it has the cardinals, and so many people, you know, hold those red cardinals dear as angels that are coming to visit. But the workmanship here, Jim, the textures, the layers, the relief work, the jeweled belts. I mean, this is a piece of art.
Well, this is one of those pieces, Jill, and since we don't have much time, I'll try to talk faster. Even though
Okay.
I'm a Southerner, we're not known for talking fast. But there's a lot to this piece, just as you said. You know, this is one of those pieces that, you know, when I'm in the studio by myself, which I always work by myself, because
Yeah.
that's the only way I can really get immersed in the zone. You know, I mean,
Do you listen to music or anything, or is it quiet?
oh yeah, I listen to music. Sometimes I even have the television in the background making as my companion. You know,
Yes.
But once I get in the zone, everything else goes away, and it's just me and the artwork and the thing,
Oh,
and I just love that part of it. But you know, there's so much to this. You know, this design that's on the back. That's a
yeah. Tell
really
me
good.
about that.
That's a really good example of something that is influenced by a style called Fraktur. It's a
Hmm.
German style, and it has those stylized elements, and sometimes it's got stars, and it's got different floral you know things that allude to floral pieces in a
Yes.
stylized way. It's very common in early colonial America because Fraktur started in Germany, and it started because they used it to illuminate their manuscripts, the illumination, those big letters and stuff. Well, the
Yes.
letters were in Hochdeutsch, which is a very elaborate lettering, but the lettering is segmented. So it's called a fractured, letter. Well,
Got it.
in German, it's Fraktur. So that's what it came from. But then pretty soon the lettering sort of got diminished and the decoration got more. So now it's just, this is Fraktur, even though it has nothing to do with the letters anymore. But you'll see that all over Williamsburg and that kind of thing. So anyway,
Yes.
that's that. And then of course the
It looks a
star.
little Pennsylvania Dutch too.
Well, Pennsylvania Dutch is
Mhm.
actually
Is
a
Deutsch.
mispronunciation of the word
Yes.
Deutsch, and
Yes.
it is German, but it involves the the Rosmaling of Norway, and the
Mhm.
Telemark of Sweden, and the Hindelupen of Holland, and all of those things sort of mixed together and done by the early settlers, who were not like professional artists, but they remembered those styles from the old country.
Yeah.
And so they did their version of it, and it's morphed into this beautiful folk style,
Yeah.
as you say, Pennsylvania Dutch. And I use that a lot,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the aspect of the cardinals, that means a lot to me too, because I don't tell this very often, but I'll go ahead and tell it really briefly. When my
Yes.
mother passed away, I was I was just in such a level of grief because I just loved her, and she was gone.
Yeah.
And I was setting out right after that, and I was sitting out there just, feeling sorry for myself, and a cardinal came to me and sat right on the rim, right in front of me.
Huh.
And it was the wildest thing. I'd always heard this kind of stuff, and I was always skeptical of it, but there it was, and I looked at the cardinal, and it just, and then the cardinal just flew away, and it took my grief with it,
Wow.
and so when I do cardinals, I have a special spot in my heart, for
Yeah.
this. And
Yeah.
so it means something to me. I think it
Yeah.
means something to a lot of people, but the fact is they don't migrate. Okay. So they stick around.
Yes.
So they provide a little pop of color in an otherwise maybe drab or, a chilly environment. And it's kind of I don't know, and a harbinger of good things to come, because spring is always coming. And the cardinal sort of reminds you of that, so I really
Yeah.
like that. But as you say, there's so much to this, and I could talk more and more, and I know we don't have a whole lot of time, but there's a
Yeah.
lot to this. And this is
Yeah. Well,
one.
I
This is
mean, for the collector or for those of you who just want that one of a kind, looking piece, this has, cardinals, it has Santa, it has all your reds and greens. I mean, I would leave this out all winter long. I wouldn't put it away after Christmas. I would continue to enjoy those beautiful red birds. I love the little birdhouse that Santa's holding here and the cardinal in his hand. It's really magnificent work, Jim. I think
uh,
this is really
thanks,
such a
Jill.
special and unique piece. And just the relief work, I was kind of trying to show the side profile so people can really see how dimensional this piece is.
Yeah, that was a very rewarding piece to get done, and it makes me feel real good that it's being appreciated by other people too.
Yeah. Let's talk about one more piece and then I'll let you
Okay.
go. But I did want to show you real quickly. I mean, this is a way back picture, but is everybody ready? That's me and Will Ferrell back when we were in college.
Wow.
Um,
You were
that's a
just as pretty then as you are now.
Oh, aren't you sweet? Well, there we are. That was a long time ago, but a fun memory for sure. All right, let's talk about your Santa in the red truck because people do love that piece, Jim.
Okay.
We're excited. We have that it's on sale right now. But I mean, there's something about an old red truck that people love. And I love the elements that you put onto this piece. And I love how Santa's just kind of hanging out the window, enjoying the ride.
Well, early on, somebody told me, they just said you'd need to do a red truck. I thought, well, that's a pretty good idea. My grandfather, his name was Pearl, and he had a 1955 red Chevrolet 5-window truck.
Wow.
And and I remember so clearly. He had a little dog. It was a Feist named Shorty, and Shorty, whenever Pearl got in that truck, Shorty was there with him. And I don't know. I just think about stuff like that. But anyway, this red truck is, of course, it's all decked out for Christmas. And once again, I put my footprint on it, with my special kind of rose malling elements and stuff like that. Once again, see, I want this to be moving. It's a snapshot in time, and you can see the wind's blowing through Santa's
Yeah.
beard,
See
his
that?
hat, and everything. And he is, I guess I don't know what he's doing with the red truck, but he's
Well,
delivering
he's bringing
something.
home the Christmas tree for Mrs. Claus.
There you go. And then
He even started decorating it.
and I've got the buffalo plaid once again on that, and that's kind of
Yes.
a nice touch.
It's a great touch. Yeah.
But and it's a piece like that. See, there's some open space on that piece, and a lot of
Yes.
times like that on these bigger pieces, I always tell people, look, if you want to collect something like this for a certain season, write something about it. Write something on it. Write what the season meant to you. Or see what was new. Maybe you have a new baby in the family, or it's your first family or first Christmas together. Or maybe the new house, or maybe maybe you just got a truck. I don't know. Whatever's going on in the family.
Right.
I urge people to do that with a lot. We've got some pieces here that we didn't talk about, like the Peanuts piece and the 12-day or the countdown to Christmas and that sort of thing, which I'll give you a brief snapshot.
Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, there
sneak
you
'em in
go.
there.
Okay, there you go. This is a special piece, and this is one of those pieces that's going to be part of your family tradition for a long, long time to come. And as you can see, okay, it's countdown to Christmas. Every day, your kids can come down and right before breakfast, move it to the next day and the next day and the next day, because they
Love
know
it.
when Santa's coming, and all the way to the bottom. And there it is, the date, so many days till Christmas. And so,
Yeah.
and then the back of it is just whimsical with all these different patterns and everything. I just
Isn't
think
that cute?
it's different, and it's just so darn pretty. And as detailed as the front is, okay, the back is suspiciously devoid of design, and that's on purpose. And once again, what I just said, I want people to do this. Like each one of your kids needs to pick out a tree, one of the trees, and write a little something on the background. Maybe
Love it.
maybe they're in the first grade, and it's 2024, and they're in the first grade.
Yeah.
And then they progress and progress, and then down here on the bottom, maybe mom and dad can write something that that touches them about that and add to it every year, and this becomes a part of your history, your tradition.
Yes.
And that's what this is all about, and that's what I love about the stuff that I do, because I become part of people's tradition during Christmas.
Yes.
When people tell me, "Oh, we have a Jim Shore Christmas," or maybe they tell me, we remember you in our Thanksgiving prayer and stuff like that. You don't think that touches me? It touches my very heart,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
keeps me happy. It keeps me motivated, and it keeps me wanting to spend time in the studio thinking about the people that you and I are, doing this for. And it's just a special thing. It's a great way to spend a life. I tell you that.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, I think that's a great way to close things out, Jim. I hate to let you go, but I know you've got such a busy schedule and that you carved time out for us at Just Jill. Just, as I've told you, I'm so grateful. I'm so
carving
thankful
is
for
what
you.
I do,
That's true. This is true. This is true.
No, it's been an absolute delight to be with you too, Jill. It always is. And you have a great group of people out there, watching, and I just am delighted to be a part of their families too.
Well, I'm honored, Jim, to be able to carry your beautiful artwork in my little shop. You're a big player in this world, and we are very little. But thank you for your friendship and for supporting what I'm doing and for always making time for us. I adore you. I hope if I don't talk to you, have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and hopefully we'll see each other before the holidays are here.
Well, thank you so much, Jill. You know, you're a great friend. I love you to pieces,
Thank you.
and
You too.
I am at your beck and call.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, listen, go get some rest, and we'll see you soon. And thanks again for being here tonight, Jim.
Thank you, Jill. Thank everybody out there. God bless you all. I love you all. Merry Christmas.
All righty. See you, Jim. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, everybody. So before we sign off tonight, just a quick reminder. If you want one of the 2 signed pieces, Jim only signed a few of them. They are not available elsewhere. And with the signature, I selected these pieces for you. So we did a woodland Santa that will come signed from Jim. And we did this sweet little snow family with the little light up snowflake. And you can see there are 2, I think it's AAA batteries. And then the signature for that one will be over on the side. So again, just special to have those signed pieces. It's just, I just think that he took the time to sign those for our wonderful community at Just Jill. Makes it even more of a treasure. And then some of the other pieces that I showed you are on sale, 10% off. And then we do have a huge, we have 3 pages. So that's, dozens and dozens and dozens of selections from Jim Shore's collection. There's some that are for Thanksgiving. We have some, obviously, that are Christmas, winter. We have some that could make great gifts other times of year. So all you need to do is go to justjillshop.com. And you can search for our Jim Shore collection. I think over in home decor, if you click that at the top of the page, it'll shop by brand, and then you can go right down to Jim Shore. Kylie could probably put a link too in the chat just to the Jim Shore collection. And I also put that in the post copy for this live stream as well. Before I let you go, just a couple of other updates. Last week, we debuted my 2024 collaboration with Buyer's Choice. We only have a couple dozen of him left. So if you haven't seen this wonderful Santa, this was a collaboration between me and Joyce Byers, the founder of Buyer's Choice. This is the third Christmas season that we've done a collaboration. I listened to your feedback. You wanted something classic, so we made him a little more chubby. In one hand, he's holding these 3 candy canes. I did that because one of our decor collections this year at Just Jill was called Peppermint Park. So if you have any of those red and white Peppermint Park pieces, now you have a Santa that ties it together. Plus, sometimes it's fun to have that little touch of food when you're decorating your kitchen, so you can use that there. He's holding a bottle brush tree. He has a little sprig of holly with a berry, and then we do the curly beard for the Just Jill Santas, because that's just kind of the look that I prefer. It's a little bit fuller, and I don't know, I just like the look of it. We all, the team at Buyer's Choice also makes our Santas just a little bit chubbier. And then it is signed. So you'll have Joyce Byers' signature on the bottom, and you'll have my signature on the bottom as well. Terry said she received hers, loves the face. In fact, a lot of you have, sent me messages saying, my Byers arrived today. I absolutely love it. But I just wanted to let you know, like, he's not long for this world. We did a very small, limited edition, and we are not doing more. Some of you have asked, what about, will you do some more Mrs. Claus? No, it was a small edition, and that's all we did. So we want to keep it tight. We want to keep it special. That's kind of why we also limit the number of pieces we have Jim sign, so that it feels more special that way. And that's the sense and feeling that I want you to have when you find these pieces from us, that like, oh, I was able to get one and I love it. And while there are some people that have it, not many do. So if you love our Buyer's Choice Santa, please make sure you pick it up. Phyllis said, receive my Buyer's Santa and Mrs. Claus. They're exquisite. You hit them out of the park. Thank you. Thank you so much. Again, it's good material, right? Like a good classic Santa is a pretty good starting place. And we have lots of fun talking about, what we're going to add to them. What are the different themes we're going to use? But we kept this one classic: candy canes and a Christmas tree. So if you want our Santa, run, don't walk to get him. And then as you're starting to think about, I know November 1st is here on Friday. Can't believe it. Then, before you know it, it's going to be Thanksgiving. And then we're moving into full-blown Christmas mode. So one of the things that I love to do this time of year is really make sure my home smells the way I want it to for the season. Um, a little challenging right now as we're raising two puppies, but that's another conversation for a different day. But I just want to remind you about our home fragrance collection at Just Jill. This is a very near and dear collection to me. These are made in the USA, in Southern California. These are fresh poured to order. So these are not candles that I've, bought from someone else and I'm putting a label on. When the orders come in, they're sent to our candle maker, Ed, and he makes them fresh to order. So you have soy base, you have fragrance from the first burn to the last, natural essential oils. Soy is a cleaner burn. You're not going to have the black soot and smoke. And I think if you read the reviews for our candles, what you will find is, they're not inexpensive compared to what you might find in a card shop or a discount store. But think about those candles for a second. How many of you have bought them? They smelled amazing in the store. And like the third or fourth time you lit it, you were like, what happened to the fragrance? That's because a lot of times, first of all, it's paraffin. And so it burns really quickly. So you hardly get a chance to enjoy it. And second of all, they top load the candles. So of course they want the most potent smell to be at the top because that's how people are smelling them in stores around the world, right? You're not going to buy a candle if it doesn't smell like, whoa, but they can do that so that you get it home. Once you burn it, you can't return it. And then you realize, oh my gosh, like 3/4 of that candle had no fragrance. That's not how we roll at Just Jill. So we have candles in these just simple white glass jars. We also have candles that we do in these beautiful mason jars, these mercury glass mason jars. And then we also do our room sprays, 800 spritzes in this 4-ounce bottle of pure essential oil. You can even use that the way you use Poo-Pourri, just saying. And we have wax melts for those of you who do have warmers and don't want to have something with a flame. But all of them are tremendous. A couple call outs that I want you to be thinking about because they do get limited. First of all, our pumpkin spice. Karen said, I love the candles. Don't buy any others. Thank you, Karen. Obviously, this one's one of my favorites because it's burned all the way down. Do you notice how it's not tunneled? That it has an even burn all the way down to the bottom? Here's why. The first time you burn one of our candles at Just Jill, I want you to trim the wick a little bit. Make sure you're going to be home for a couple of hours. Don't light it for 30 minutes, blow it out and move on. Because, and this is really true of any candle, so not just ours, but any, if you don't let a candle melt completely across the surface, like really have it melted all the way across edge to edge the first time you burn it, if it only goes halfway, the next time it burns, it's only going halfway. And that's what causes the tunnel. And the bummer there is all that wax around the edge that has all that fragrance isn't getting used. So make sure you have about 2 hours the first time you burn one of our candles to allow it to get that liquid melt pool across the surface. And it's that melt pool that throws the fragrance into your room. That's why this has burned so evenly, almost down to the bottom. I only have about that much left. So I'm going to have to get another one. Pumpkin spice, one of our #1 sellers. People love our pumpkin spice. And I've said this before. I would put our pumpkin spice candle up against any brand out there, whether it's a brand that charges $300 for a candle, or it's a brand that charges $9.99. Our pumpkin spice is absolutely the best. It's pumpkin. It has those notes that you would find in a pumpkin pie. So there's a little cinnamon, it's a little nutmeg, a smidge of clove, but then there's also some brown sugar. There's also a toasted note in there. There's a little bit of vanilla. And it's just the first time Kylie smelled this, and this is even before she was working for the company. We were sitting around smelling samples and she came across the pumpkin spice and she said, this smells like mom. Like this is like how our house smells all the time. It's my favorite scent when done right. and we've tweaked it so that it is more than right. So if you've tried our pumpkin spice, please share in the comments. These will last a long time. This mason jar size will, and remember, shipping and handling is included with all of our items, but this mason jar glass size will easily give you, I think it's like 100 and something hours of burn time, maybe 150 hours of burn time. So again, you're going to have so much fragrance from this size. Our smaller candles give you about 75 hours of burn time. So again, soy burns slower, so you get this incredible melt, and then it throws the fragrance. Lisa says, I love the pumpkin spice. It smells so delicious. It's a game changer. If I had to tell you, like, well, which do I get, Jill? The mason jar, this candle, that candle, what do I do? If you've never tried any of our fragrances and you're willing to try something, I would say do a combo that gives you one candle and one room spray. That's going to give you the best overall home fragrance experience, so that your candle is going to give you fragrance in your room area, but then you can carry that fragrance with a few spritzes of our room spray as well. For fall, we have, what is the most subtle smell you have? I have asthma and can't do heavy smells. So, Christine, I think for you, subtle, you might want to check out our With Grace fragrance. And if you're familiar with Philosophy's Amazing Grace, that was the inspiration. It's very soft. It's very feminine. It's not overwhelming. I will also tell you that you might, probably you still get a lot of fragrance, but again, you might want to consider the wax melts. You still get a lot of fragrance from those, but again, it's a smaller batch at a time than the full-size candles. Something to think about. But I think the With Grace might be a nice place for you to start. What I was going to say is, a lot of people have told me that they cannot use other candles, but they can use ours. And I think a lot of that is because we have so many natural ingredients. We don't have synthetic or artificials. We are using natural essential oils for our fragrance. So hopefully that answers your question. Apple strudel is another scent we use. That's very nice if you like that crisp apple. I love burning the apple and the pumpkin together, frankly, and we try to create synergy with our scents. And then as we move beyond, now, frankly, I do pumpkin spice all year round because I love it so much. But as you move into holiday, our two most popular fragrances are our Christmas tree. And for the gazillions of people who have an artificial Christmas tree and you miss that Christmas tree smell, get the duo of our Christmas tree spray fragrance, because this is, oh my gosh, it's so good. And really, that's all you need to fragrance a room. Oh, and there it is. Oh, so it's pine. There's a little bit of fresh fallen snow. There is a blend of a little bit of balsam. So you have balsam, pine, a little bit of a warm wood note, a little smidge of sweetness, that fresh fallen snow. Oh, it smells like you just brought in a fresh Christmas tree from the Christmas tree farm. So if you miss that scent, again, you could do a candle and a room spray, but the room sprays are awesome for that. And then finally, one of our most popular, probably our top 3 fragrances are the home fragrance, which is our custom signature fragrance. Everybody loves it. You can burn it all year round. It's sort of a sugared citrus, clean, tropical scent. Just good. Pumpkin spice and Cozy Winter Cabin. So Cozy Winter Cabin, if you've never smelled it, if you have smelled Cozy Winter Cabin, write the comments and let people know.
It's so good. It's so good.
Kylie said, it's so good. It's so good. Aletha said, watching for the first time, how do I order? I love fall and cinnamon scents. What do you recommend? Aletha, you would go to justjillshop.com. Thank you for being here, by the way. JustJillShop.com is my website. That's where all the items that we've talked about tonight and more. We have over 800 items there for you to shop for, from Christmas decor to food to jewelry to beauty to gifts. We got a lot there. And for you, I would say get our pumpkin spice. Like I'm not even going to think twice about it. If you love fall fragrances, you should do pumpkin spice. That would be my recommendation. Cozy Winter Cabin. Are you ready for the story here? So, candle maker Ed, our candle maker, he and I have been friends for over a decade. And as we were going down this journey of candle making together, I said to him, okay, here's what I want. Because I think that candles are about mood. They take you places, right? They put you in a mood. They evoke feelings. And so what I wanted from Cozy Winter Cabin was, I described this scene. I said, Ed, I want a candle that creates this experience of being in a gorgeous mountain lodge home. I'm wrapped in a cashmere throw or wearing a cashmere blanket. There's a crackling fire. I open up the door of this beautiful mountain lodge home, and outside it's fresh fallen snow. It's nighttime. There's a coolness, and I get a little whiff of pine. There's a lot in that description, right? That's pine, snow, wood-burning fire, cozy cashmere, fresh air. And guess what? He nailed it. If you don't know our Cozy Winter Cabin, you need to meet Cozy Winter Cabin, because you'll want this. This will be your Christmas candle for a lot of you. And by the way, it plays beautifully with Christmas tree. So you could do Christmas tree and Cozy Winter Cabin, and you won't have any weird crossover of scents. But Cozy Winter Cabin is really what I burn most of the time in the wintertime, from Christmas through about March. And then at March, that's when I transition. I bring out lemon pound cake to kind of clean the air. And then I'm back to burning home fragrance, which is what we have burning in our house most of the time. So Cozy Winter Cabin, total winner. I know so many of you love it. Lynn loves our fragrances. Thank you, Lynn. I'm going up here. Denise, Brenda says, smells like fallen snow. Kylie, I'm taking over here. Denise says, Christmas tree scents, one of my absolute favorites, that and the lavender. And we do have classic scents like lavender and awapui. We have lemon pound cake. We have orange clove. I mean, we have so many fragrances, but for seasonal right now, I want to direct you to pumpkin spice, apple strudel. We do have a creme brulee, which is fabulous if you like a vanilla sweetness. We do have a, what was I going to say? Cinnamon vanilla, which is just a classic. That's nice to burn with pumpkin spice. But back to Aletha, who was asking, do pumpkin spice. Without question, pumpkin spice, pumpkin spice, pumpkin spice. They're all so good. Laura says she loves our home scent. Thank you. Millie, I've ordered Cozy Winter Cabin several times. So there you have it. That tells me right there, it's a great scent, because how many times have you all bought a candle, burned it once, and never bought it again? That's what we find with our home fragrances. You all try it, and not only do you come back for the same fragrance again, you liked it so much, you're also then trying the next and the next. If you love coffee fragrances, who doesn't love the smell of fresh brewed coffee or fresh ground roasted coffee beans? We have a wonderful coffee shop and mocha coffee combo. Those make great gifts. So for that friend of yours who always has to stop at Starbucks, get them a coffee scented candle. They're incredible. They're so good. So all of them are amazing, but trying to keep it focused on seasonal, but there are many others. Our fresh cut grass, another great one to kind of clean the scents in your home. I also like that one if you have an older home or even pets where your house starts to smell a little musty. That fresh cut grass is really good to sort of refresh the space too. So they're all amazing. I kind of feel like they're all my children. I can't have a favorite, but for fall, pumpkin spice, for Christmas into winter, Christmas tree and cozy winter, and for all year round. I love our home fragrance. I love our With Grace fragrance. It's very pretty, soft, and feminine. And you know, the coffee shop's great. Lemon pound cake's amazing. That's another new favorite for a lot of people. So just, there's a lot. Find your favorite. They're all good. All right. So here's the deal. Tomorrow night, we're going to be back with another Facebook Live. We just got in a whole new assortment of Christmas decor. We're going to show you some of that tomorrow night. Sneak peek coming up tomorrow night. This is our brand new bracelet for pancreatic cancer. A portion of the proceeds we will be donating to PanCan. This will be the 21, 22, 23, fourth year that we're making a donation to PanCan. Pancreatic cancer research is very important to me. I lost my dad to pancreatic cancer, hard to believe, 14 years ago. So this is brand new. That's an amethyst heart. This will be available tomorrow. We'll talk more about it then. Also, make sure you check out social media tomorrow at Just Jill. Something happened recently, and I was mentioned and recognized in a pretty cool publication. So very proud of that. And we're going to be sharing that. We can share all of that with all of you starting tomorrow. Pretty cool. And I think that's it. Did I hit everything, Kylie?
Yes.
I think we got it, right? So head on over. Some of you have been asking about, are we getting more of our flameless candles in? Yes, I just placed an order. I did it tonight before we went live. So we'll have more flameless candles coming in before Christmas. I know how many of you are loving that and wanting those for your decor. So, so many things to shop for. Go get those sign pieces from Jim Shore. When they're gone, they're gone. And don't forget your buyers, get your home fragrances, and meet me back here tomorrow night at 8. I look forward to seeing you then. Have a great night, everybody. See you later. Bye.